hopes and the dreams and aspirations of billions of people who, at one point or another, bestowed on them the honor to constitute and lead their governments. This understanding that we collectively carry on our shoulders as political parties in the Brics countries, being the hopes, the dreams and aspirations of the people who live in these countries, must and will underpin our discussions over the next 3 days as we seek to find the best ways and methods towards building what we could call a common agenda, which is about inclusive growth and multilateralism in the fourth industrial revolution. We are bound by our duty to the billions of people we collectively lead to discuss vigorously our common economic and political challenges with a view to developing an approach to deal with these challenges within the framework of Brics. As we grapple with the challenges facing our respective countries and the world as a whole, we have a responsibility as leading political parties to forge unity amongst ourselves and act in concert to make the world a better place for all to live in. This unity that we are seeking to forge implies, among other things, that we must, at a political level, do two things. Firstly, agree on a common frame of reference from which we conduct a proper analysis of the world that we live in. And secondly, actively work to change it for the better. There must be no doubt that the political parties gathered here are part of the leading formations of progressive humanity, working ceaselessly for the configuration of a new world arrangement which is more humane and also more just in all respects of social and economic life. Like Nelson Mandela, our founding father, whose centenary we are marking this year, sought to promote a world that is humane and a world that is at peace with itself. But at the same time, as political parties, we must frown upon forces that promote processes that seek to perpetuate any form of imperialism or chauvinism and any form of oppression of one by another. We must assert and defend the equality of all humans regardless of race, class and gender, as well as the equality of all sovereign states regardless of their economic power or military strength. As progressive formations, we must work tirelessly to the extent possible for the peaceful resolution of conflict wherever threats of violence emerge anywhere in the world. We must see it as our duty to ensure the peace and stability of the world and build a truly harmonious community of nations. Notwithstanding our individual national interests, our presence here today confirms that we are indeed internationalists in outlook and in practice. We must be concerned about and seek actively to reverse the rise of narrow and extreme nationalism which is taking root in some parts of the world. This we must do because narrow nationalism serves only to undermine the rules-based multilateral system of global governance that holds the world together. What we ought never to forget regarding this is that when extreme nationalism rises, so does the potential for one country or a small group of countries to take on to themselves or arrogate to themselves the right to determine the fate of the entire world. To this end, the Brics Leaders Summit in Johannesburg declared that we reiterate our commitment to shaping a more fair, just and representative multipolar international order to the shared benefit of humanity, in which the general prohibition of the use of force is fully upheld and which excludes the imposition of unilateral coercive measures outside the framework of the United Nations Charter. We emphasize, they continued to say, the indivisible nature of peace and security, and reiterate that no country should enhance its security at the expense of the security of others. We who have gathered here as leaders of the political parties in Brics are the ones who must rise in defense of multilateralism, international law, human solidarity, when all these important values are under attack. The rapid pace at which the world of work is changing owing to technological advances requires our focused attention. We must thoroughly analyze the implications of the fourth industrial revolution for our economies, as well as the impact that it will have on our peoples. Our political parties must discuss how our countries can collectively take advantage of the digital age for the benefit of all our people. As agreed at the July BRICS Summit, we must work to deepen BRICS cooperation in digitization, industrialization, innovation, inclusiveness, and investment, with a view to maximizing the opportunities and address the challenges that arise from the fourth industrial revolution. We must also enhance the competitive advantages that each of our countries have. And all our 5 countries have a number of wonderful competitive advantages. And these are advantages that we must enhance, strengthen. We should also boost economic growth and promote economic transformation of BRICS countries by strengthening sustainable industrial production. As we do this, we should create networks of science parks and technology business incubators and support small and medium-sized enterprises in technology-intensive areas in our various countries. At a meeting a few days ago of the G20 Leaders Summit, they decided that we need to build consensus for a fair and sustainable development through an agenda that is people-centered, but that is also inclusive and forward-looking. The G20 focus on the future of work, as well as infrastructure for development, but also dealing with sustainable food future and a gender mainstreaming strategy across the G20 countries is something that should be welcomed. The G20 addressed this agenda with a view to promoting dialogue in the search for common ground amongst the G20 countries. And building consensus was the most important issue that underpinned the discussions that ensued. And it was highlighted as an issue that requires commitment of society as a whole. The discussions were enriched by the various engagement of the stakeholders who were present. And as the discussions went on, there was recognition of the fact that there has been strong global economic growth, while recognizing that this economic growth has been increasingly less synchronized between countries, and some of the key risks that a number of countries are facing, including financial vulnerabilities and geopolitical concerns, are matters that need to be addressed. It also noted the trade issues that are a current matter of discussion around the world. But in this, there was strong affirmation to the pledge that we should use policy tools to achieve strong, sustainable, balanced, and inclusive growth, but also safeguard against the downward risks by stepping up the dialogue that needs to take place amongst all role players so that there can be more increased confidence in the economic growth that the world so needs. Issues such as monetary policy were highlighted as important issues that need to continue to support economic activity and ensure price stability. Fiscal policy was also touched on as an important area to rebuild buffers where needed, that they should be used flexibly and be growth friendly, whilst ensuring public debt is put on a sustainable path. The Brics countries held their own summit on the sidelines of the G20 summit and were able to renew the bonds that exist between the Brics countries, but were also able, in that meeting on the sidelines of the G20 summit, to reconfirm the commitment of the Brics countries to the multilateral system, to continued cooperation amongst them as Brics countries, and in many ways the meeting was used to strengthen and solidify the links between the Brics countries. So as we meet here today, we are meeting on the back of a very fantastic meeting that took place amongst the Brics leaders as they met in Argentina. And today we can say that we carry that work that they've started forward. It is therefore important that we continue to work together to deal with all the various issues, particularly at a party level, to ensure that our parties are properly synchronized with some of the important issues that are being decided on globally. But more importantly, during this next 3 days, it is these Brics political parties that should be ahead of the curve and be able to inform some of the important policy decisions that are dealt with when the leaders of governments meet around the world. We need, therefore, as we work together to create a better life for the billions of people we are privileged to lead as political parties. I have no doubt that this meeting will have fruitful discussions and will shape a progressive as well as a compelling perspective on how we should deal with the political and economic challenges facing the world. But of course, we also need to go beyond just the political and economic. We need to deal with perhaps the most important part, the people-to-people linkages that we need to promote vigorously amongst ourselves as BRICS countries. In other words, our gathering here must inspire the people-to-people linkages that should start ensuing amongst the peoples of our countries as BRICS countries. At the BRICS summit that was held here in Johannesburg, particular attention was placed on this as the BRICS leaders felt that we needed to go beyond just the political and economic, and felt that we need to strengthen the people-to-people linkages by also involving sports activities, cultural activities amongst our various countries, and have a very keen appreciation of each country's histories, cultures, arts, and all that. And it is these BRICS parties that are gathered here that can give life, that can give energy to this important aspect of what BRICS should stand for. I conclude by saying the BRICS formation is perhaps one of the most important formations that we have globally, because since its formation, it has been able to see real activity, real implementation of decisions, and it has gone way beyond what we had ever anticipated. So today, as we meet here as political parties, let us also go beyond what we had anticipated. This meeting is a great inspiration to our peoples around our 5 countries. Let us live up to the challenge and give them hope and give them confidence in the ability of our 5 countries to work together to create a better world and a better world order. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Comrade President, thank you very much. As the words you have spoken remind us, and you've reminded us, that our purpose is the promotion of the common culture of peace throughout the world. We welcome our friends from Palestine and the Sahrawi to this meeting today. The Western Sahara are here today, as are all the former liberation movements that were on the African continent, and some of them are governing parties today. We also welcome the Indian National Congress, and we welcome the Communist Party of Russia, the Russian Communist Party, or the Communist Party of Russia, amongst many other friends. What we would like to do now is to request the Secretary General of the hosting country to make a few remarks as we proceed, and this is effectively our second session. Thereafter, we will receive His Excellency the Foreign Minister of the People's Republic of China, and also thereafter we will receive the Honourable Member of Parliament, Mr. Rajwa Sabya, Mr. Pahashpoda from the BJP. And we will flow from there. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Program Director, Comrade Deputy Secretary General Jesse Duarte, the President of the African National Congress and the President of South Africa, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. I'm sure, President, you have already set the tone for the day. The National Chairperson of the ANC, Comrade Gwere Mantashe, and all members of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, the leader of the delegation of the Communist Party of China, Comrade Song Tao, and the leader of the delegation of BJP of India, the leadership of the delegation of the United Party of Russia, which will be participating in a dialogue through Skype and could not attend because of the Congress taking place in Russia. The Party of Brazil gave an apology. There is a change of government after the recent elections. And the leader of the delegations of the founding members of Brics, the Workers' Party of Brazil, Comrade Senator Hoffman, and the leader of the delegation of the founding member of Brics, the Indian National Congress. Leaders of the delegations of political parties from the African continent and leaders of delegations of former liberation movements of the Southern African region, MPLA, Frelimo, SWAPO, ZANU-PF, Chama Chama, and all distinguished guests. Leaders of our delegations from all our leagues, from former liberation movements of the South African region, the veterans, women and young people, and leaders of delegations of political parties from Latin America region, Middle East region, and Far East region. Our leadership home here of our Revolutionary Alliance present, the South African Communist Party, COSATU and SANCO. It is our great honor, as the President has already said. Together we share a proud history of ideological work that has sought to clarify the reading of our individual histories, interpretation of our present and our aspirations and utopia. This is the bond which has kept the unity of the developing and emerging countries during the difficult dark period of oppression, domination, and mechanization of imperialism. The expanded influence and sphere of the BRICS political parties plus has become an important platform to reposition all progressive forces of the world to renew their bonds, strengthening solidarity, deepening ideological cohesion, and consolidating governments' cooperation on the basis of mutual respect, territorial independence, and sovereignty. BRICS has become the hope of progressive internationalism and solidarity for all of humanity. The momentum resonates with the spirit of South-to-South cooperation of the historic Afro-Asian Solidarity Conference held during the year 1955 in Bandung, Indonesia, of ensuring that the progressive of humanity continues to be a powerhouse within the arena of the global socio-economic relations. Indeed, the coming together of the BRICS political parties plus all progressive forces of the countries of the Latin African continent, Southeast Asia, Latin America, Eurasia, and South Asia is a tremendous achievement for the fulfillment of all endeavors for human progress. We see prospective opportunities to the outreach programs of rebuilding the old lines of solidarity across the oceans in the shared commitment to change the world for the well-being of humanity. In these outreach programs, we see the possibilities of rebuilding revolutionary programs such as the Organization of Solidarity amongst the peoples of Africa, Asia, and Latin America, as well as the Afro-Asian People's Solidarity Organization. The BRICS political parties plus is an important platform today to fashion the idea of an economic power bloc championed by one of the founding fathers of the African Liberation Movement, President Mwalimu Julius Nyerere of the United People's Republic of Tanzania, of adopting a new international economic order. And our effort of fashioning the new world order is occasioned by the realities which are abundantly clear that the post-Second World Order has not worked for all and has not worked for the people from developing and emerging countries. The new trajectory of the post-Second World War order is a mantle bestowed upon us by centuries of struggle against imperialism, colonialism, and new globalization. This is a process which has manifested itself with the characteristics features of replicating the center, periphery, and reproduction of the richer few and poverty, disease, and underdevelopment for the overwhelming majority of the people of the world. And to shape society, we need to think about the origins of what is now passing. We need to think about the origins of globalization, its promise, its rise, and gradual collapse from the mid-90s. If we do not focus on that majestical appearance, rise, hesitation, and fall, we may not understand what has happened to us, whether good or bad, and where we are now. We need to look carefully at the other forces that are increasingly setting the pace today, from irregular warfare to NGOs to invigorated nation states, from the reappearance of genocides, racism, gender stereotypes, and hidden forms of inflations, to a new practical interest in ethics and positive forms of nationalism and citizenry. All we can attest is that much of this is exciting, some of it dangerous, but all of it is real. The rising irresponsible nationalism might have been as a result of the influence from the 19th century economist Spencer, who formulated the concept of the survival of the fittest, capitalism, which Charles Darwin eventually borrowed in his explanation of the evolution of the natural selection. Their firm belief with eugenics movement is that it is the duty of the economically strong to drive the economically weak to extinction, the drive which is the secret of the strength of capitalism. Their notion is that all remedial sound welfare measures simply prolong and expand human agony by increasing the population, which will simply die of starvation. The rising phenomenon of irresponsible nationalism believes in the extinction of the weakest, which is against the world rhythm of building solidarity and internationalism of the 21st century. To shape, as the President has said, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa, society, we need to think about the origin of what is passing through the historical period of the development of human society. We have to wake ourselves from the doldrums of the dangers of some of the irresponsible nationalisms spearheaded by some of the powerful economies of the world. The world is confronted by the wave of irresponsible nationalism, which seeks to undermine the order of things. Therefore, delegates, it is our task to build a global trade freed of narrow nationalism, interest, and inhibiting regulations to derive more value-added export. Such balanced trade between nation-states will in turn unleash broad economic tide of growth for the mutual benefit of all our people. The tidal wave will in turn rise all ships, including that of the poor, whether it's in the developed or developing world. At the same time, as society evolves through the stages of development, there are swift changes which are equally impacting on its political, social, and economic structure. an unseen and fearful revolution taking place in the fiber and the structure of society. And in today's realities of the world, the nation states cannot wish away the global markets, and equally global markets cannot wish away the nation states. What is there to manage the potential friction of the two for maximum output and outcome? Therefore, we are gathered here to appreciate each other's competitive advantages and not to complain about each economic potential. Ours is to facilitate trade for the maximum benefit of the majority of the people of the world. The two have been collaborating harmoniously alongside each other over centuries of human civilization, and the harmonious relationship of the market forces and the nation state is the best form of pragmatism. Our struggle into the new era of the fourth industrial revolution is amongst the important birthmarks of a society in the making, and the future of our ideal society is at the mountain peak, and we have to carry one another to the mountain top with all the magnitude of our determination to create a better world for all. It is for the best interest of the future generations to renew our bonds of solidarity and internationalism in this hostile world dominated by the greed of capitalism. There is a growing offensive to undermine the progressive movement across the world, especially in the former colonies and semi-colonies. Therefore, our task in conclusion is to strengthen our people-to-people relations, as the President has said, and share our experience and lessons on how to build the capacity of our movements to respond to the challenges of our time. I therefore take this opportunity to make a plea and call to all of us as progressive forces around the globe to continue struggling and making sure that we, in solidarity, we support all progressive forces across the globe. We also call for the immediate end of the decade-long economic blockade against the people of Cuba. The blockade is a crime against humanity. Our struggle is also about solidarity with the oppressed people of the world, especially the people of Palestine and Sahrawi people. To achieve this ideal milestone, we have to work for the transformation of the multilateral institutions, such as the Security Council, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, World Health Organization, World Food Organization, and other related institutions. This is the only meaningful way to build a world of peace and prosperity. We hope you will have a fruitful deliberations during this 3 days dialogue. We hope you will enjoy our warm reception and the beautiful Ubuntu of the people of South Africa. Productivity is generated by knowledge, information, and powered by information technology. I thank you.
Comrade Secretary General of the ANC, thank you very much. It is now my honor to invite to the podium the Minister of International Department of the Communist Party of China, Comrade Song Tao.
尊敬的非国大主席南非总统拉马福萨阁下，尊敬的各国政党领导人、女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家上午好！非常高兴出席在美丽的茨瓦内举办的第2届金专家政党对话。首先，我代表中国共产党对此次对话会的举办表示热烈的祝贺，对拉马福萨总统和南非非国大为会议召开所做的努力和周到的安排表示衷心的感谢。去年6月，中国共产党倡议召开首届金专家政党对话，受到 与会代表的普遍欢迎，也得到当年9月召开的金砖国家领导人峰会的充分肯定。会后发表的厦门宣言，希望将来继续采取类似行动。我们高兴地看到，在非国大的积极推动下，第2届金砖加政党对话得以顺利召开，朝金砖政党对话实现机制化迈出了关键一步。这充分体现了非国大对金砖政党对话合作的重视，也为南非金砖联画上了一个圆满的句号。本届对话的主题是在第4次工业革命中构建共同议程，推动包容性发展和多边主义。这既与今年7月金砖国家领导人约堡峰会的主题相一致，又特别契合当今形势和各方的关注。中共中央总书记、中国国家主席习近平在约堡峰会上强调指出，我们正在经历一场更大范围、更深层次的科技革命和产业变革。正如大家感受到，这场革命和变革正深刻地影响人类社会的生产方式、生活模式和价值理念。关于工业革命的深层次影响，这里我有几点观察与大家分享。第一，工业革命增添世界经济发展新动力。习近平总书记在约堡峰会上指出，从18世纪第1次工业革命的机械化，到19世纪第2次工业革命的电气化，再到20世纪第3次工业革命的信息化，一次次颠覆性的科技革命带来社会生产力的大解放和生活水平的大跃升，从根本上改变了人类历史的发展轨迹。纵观历史，每一次工业革命都为人类社会带来新的生产方式、消费需求、资源开发和分配格局，都为世界经济发展提供了新动能。工业革命每发生一次，世界经济就向前迈进一大步。可以预见，随着第4次工业革命的不断展开，新技术、新产业、新业态、新模式将不断的涌现，世界经济将以新的面貌呈现在世人的面前。第二，工业革命推动经济全球化深入发展。工业革命之前，世界各地的人们相互隔绝，商贸和人文交流极其稀少。但工业革命的发生打破了重重壁垒，使人们可以离开村落和乡里，摆脱地理阻碍和资源的束缚，日益到远方去探索，到世界各地去工作和生活。这就是170年前马克思和恩格斯在共产党宣言中指出的，由于世界市场的开拓，一切国家的生产和消费都成为世界性的。这是工业革命的持续强劲推动，才使经济全球化不断深入发展，并成为不以人的意志为转移的历史大势。正如习近平总书记所强调的，经济全球化是人类社会发展必经之路。今天的经济全球化不是想谁开始就开始，谁想结束就结束的，也不是谁想开倒车就能逆转的。展望未来，第4次工业革命使各国相互依存更加紧密，日益形成的利益共同体、命运共同体 也将推动经济全球化不断朝着开放、包容、普惠、平衡、共赢的方向发展。第三，工业革命为各国发展提供了重要机遇。回顾历史，许多国家都利用工业革命提供的机遇，实现跨越式的发展。英国、美国、日本等国都是如此。以金砖国家为代表的新兴经济体的群体性的崛起大势，都与有关国家能够抓科技创新机遇有着密切的联系。中国在短短几十年的时间内成为世界第二大经济体，根本原因也在于此。这昭示我们，只要能够抓住机遇，勇于开拓创新，利用后发优势，广大发展中国家照样可以后来居上。第四，工业革命给政党政治带来深刻的变革。每次工业革命总是伴随着深刻的社会变革，特别是每次工业革命的成果都给各国政党提供了更为先进的政治动员、组织协调和内外传播的工具。政治家从乘火车去竞选，到发表电视演讲，再到今天通过网络和手机来传播本党的政策主张，甚至出现网络问政这些新的形式。这种变化是翻天覆地的，带来的内外影响也是巨大的。当今社会过不了互联网这一关，就过不了长期执政这一关。如何用好第四次工业革命的成果，如何应对这一革命带来的风险挑战，是我们每一个政党需要深入思考和回答的重大课题。各位同事，当今世界正在经历着新一轮的大发展、大变革和大调整，经济全球化大潮滚滚向前，但保护主义、单边主义给世界经济增长蒙上了阴影，新科技革命和产业变革蓄势待发，但新旧动能转换尚未完成，国际格局深刻演变，但发展失衡未有根本的改观。全球治理体系加快变革，但治理的滞后仍是突出的挑战。面对世界100年未有之大变局，我们需要认清大势，把握规律，坚定信心，共克时艰。政党是一个国家内外政策制定的源头，是民意和舆论的引导者，也是推进人类文明进步的重要力量。在顺应大势、抓住机遇、消除全球和平赤字、发展赤字、治理赤字等方面承担的重要的责任。为此，我们认为各国政党一要坚持开放合作，反对保护主义。开放带来强盛，封闭导致落后，这是历史规律，不以人的意志为转移。习近平总书记指出，开放合作是推动世界经济稳定复苏的现实要求，也是促进人类社会不断进步的时代要求。走保护主义、单边主义的老路，不仅解决不了问题，还会加剧世界经济的不确定性。历史经验已经证明，只有坚持开放合作，才能获得更多的发展机遇和更大的发展空间。面对各种反全球化的逆流，金砖国家和广大发展中国家要保持定力，增强信心，携手共同推动开放合作的大业。二要坚持多边协调， 反对单边主义。当今世界全球性的问题层出不穷，加强国际多边协调合作是大势所趋，人心所向，不能谁的胳膊粗力气大谁就说了算，更不能搞实用主义双重标准，合则用，不合则弃。习总书记强调，现行的国际秩序并不完美，但只要它以规则为基础，以公平为导向，以共赢为目标，就不能被随意舍弃，更不能推倒重来。金砖国家和广大发展中国家要秉持共商、共建、共享的理念，积极推动全球经济治理的体系变革，不断提高发展中国家的代表性和发言权，不断增强全球经济治理议程中的发展中国家的影响力。三要坚持共同发展，反对赢家通吃。习近平总书记指出，在经济全球化深入发展的今天，弱肉强食、赢者通吃是一条越走越窄的死胡同，包容普惠、互利共赢才是越走越宽的人间正道。5年前，中国提出“一带一路”倡议，一个重要的考虑就是要通过这个国际合作的新平台，增添共同发展的新动力。前不久，在北京召开的中非合作论坛北京峰会上，中方提出重点实施8大行动，也是为了汇聚南南合作的力量，推动发展中国家共同现代化。金砖国家和广大发展中国家要通过推进金砖国家新工业革命伙伴关系，加强宏观经济政策协调，实现发展战略深入对接，加速新旧动能转换和经济转型升级，努力走出一条新型的南南合作之路。是要坚持交流对话，反对唯我独尊。习近平总书记指出，尺有所短，寸有所长，我们要提倡交流互鉴，注重激起不同国家、不同民族创造的优秀文明成果，取长补短，兼收并蓄，共同绘就人类文明的美好画卷。中国古语也讲，海不持水，故能成其大；山不持土，故能成其高。金砖国家走到今天，就是彼此开放包容、交流互鉴、合作共赢的结果。在这一过程中，各个合作机制都发挥了重要的作用。由于政党的特殊功能，金砖政党对话在其中扮演着重要的角色。我们希望金砖国家和广大发展中国家的政党能充分利用这一平台，加强对话交流，共商金砖发展大计，共话金砖合作的未来。我就讲这些，谢谢大家。Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Somtao, for a very important message that hopefully we've all taken heed of. Inclusivity and mutual prosperity in the context of technology-driven fourth industrial revolution and growth, as well as our determination to continue to work together to strengthen multilateralism and the rule of law in international relations, and to promote a fair, just, equitable, democratic and representative international order. It is now my honor to invite to the podium He's the Honorable Mahesh Poda, a Member of Parliament for the BJP party in India.
Your Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, Your Excellency Ms. Lindiwe Sisulu, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Comrade Gaude Montashe, ANC National Chairperson, Comrade Elias Mangasule, ANC Secretary General, Comrade J.C. Durate, ANC Deputy Secretary General, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, on behalf of the Indian delegation and on my personal behalf, I convey my sincere thanks to the African National Congress for the warm welcome and the hospitality accorded to us and the excellent arrangements made for our stay as well as our meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, we are appreciative of South Africa as chair of Brics in hosting the Brics Summit and related meetings, including the one that is Political Parties Dialogue in 2018. On behalf of the Bharatiya Janata Party and the people of Republic of India, and on behalf of President of BJP, Sri Amit Shah, the BJP wishes ANC a very productive and successful political parties plus dialogue aimed towards building a common agenda, inclusive development and multilateralism in the era of Fourth Industrial Revolution. The ANC, a colossus in the world of politics, has been the foundation of hope to oppressed and exploited mass all over the globe. The ANC has our admiration as a progressive political party whose policies, action and articulation reinforces it as a pro-working class and pro-people. It has profound regard for our leading movement post-1994 to replace colonialism and apartheid with the new order where South Africa belongs to all who live in here, and irrespective of color, everybody is respected. Its capacity to adapt to new conditions is exceptional. Forward-looking discussions on this dialogue to prepare for a new emerging world order and changes in the working condition of future with the advent of Fourth Industrial Revolution bear credence to it, and it's happening at the right time. Sir, in today's times, we identify ourselves with our name, race, nationality, status, occupation, etc. But often we forget that before any of these tags, we are all human beings. We are, and that is our true identity and our true calling. Despite our varying histories, cultures and backgrounds, we are unified with the same ethical and moral code of humanity. India's biggest strength is its diversity. There is simplicity in every Indian. There is a unity in every corner of India. This is our strength. The foundation of Brics countries have been laid on the same principles of mutual respect, equality and cooperation towards the development of our people. I stand in solidarity with the Brics countries representing India to further commit towards our common goal of economic growth, peace, harmony and security for our all nations. While we are addressing humanity on the soil of South Africa, it would only be apt to remember respected late Madiba. His endless efforts, struggles and sacrifices became the building block of what we know as democracy. He was true revolutionary, a leader and a great inspiration, personally and for everyone in the world. He was a true revolutionary. His courage towards pursuing freedom, inequality, and service to humanity for basic right will continue to be our foundation as human being for 100 years now and till the end of the time. This year also, marks the 150th birth anniversary of Gandhiji, addressed and honored first as a Mahatma in South Africa in 1914. He applied his first non-violent civil disobedience theories towards protecting the civil rights of resident Indian communities in South Africa, and later applied the same principles in India to gain freedom from British colonization. The astonishing phenomena of revolution led by a son, as historians Will Durant had put it. I repeat again, it was Mahatma in 1914 who was addressed as Mahatma first time in South Africa. These great selfless and courageous men were pioneers to the ideologies of freedom, civil rights, democracies, religious pluralism, and humanity in general. Though their deeds and words, their enriched communities and developed our nation, Gandhi and Madiba represent the golden thread uniting our two countries and the people of these two great countries. All Brics participating countries come from profound historical backgrounds and rich culture. I urge upon my fellow brothers and sisters present here today to draw our dialogues and vision from our culture, history, struggle and growth, and deep humanitarian backgrounds. When we strategize the multilateral development in our nations, let us keep in mind that our forefathers have sacrificed their lives over battles for freedom and to protect basic civil rights through all sections of the society, rich and poor alike. This amalgamation of an assimilation of cultures, values and humanity will enable us to not only strengthen our collaboration but also allow our countries to attain growth and prosperity in comprehensive manner. India values and appreciates the progress made in enhancing Brics political exchanges. In this regard, meetings between our heads of state, government foreign ministers, national security advisors, and the special messengers from Middle East have made important contribution. This dialogue among political parties is another positive step in facilitating understanding of our respective political ideologies and sharing worldviews from the perspective of political parties. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his formidable words, has meticulously highlighted the importance of Brics. He says, Brics acts as a vital pillar of hope for this world full of potential challenges, safety-related challenges and economic challenges. Taking cue from his inspiring leadership and impressive initiatives to ensuring that every citizen of India, irrespective of his or her social status, is guaranteed of the minimum a place to call home, regular water supply, an electricity connection, and free health care. Let us attempt to encourage an environment of peace as well as economic and political stability for our nations to thrive in. Our solidarity and respect towards humanity will give us credibility and power to make positive changes and to create better prospective lives for our generations to follow. As Prime Minister has said, Brics countries have been contributing to global sustainability and development. We have played an important role in shaping the economic and political structure of the world. We have made significant contributions in making the architecture of global economic governance more representative and democratic, and we will continue to work further in this direction. We must ensure a rule-based world order by working together with multilateral institutions like UN, WTO, UNFCCC, World Bank, so as to maintain their relevance and also ensure that they reflect the present realities. In this regard, the Prime Minister had suggested reformed multilateralism at the Brics Summit held in July 2018. Keeping in mind the changes in technology taking place these days and in the future, the Prime Minister has suggested the issue of fourth industrial revolution to be discussed in detail as a new system, and products will open a new road for economic development. With the advent of fourth industrial revolution, the type and opportunities for employment will be an important issue, and particularly for the countries which have a big population. Though traditional manufacturing will continue to be an important means of job creation, it will also become extremely important for the workers to enhance their skill. Inclusion of topics like fourth industrial revolution, inclusive economic development, and ways and means to ensure peace and security would enrich the discussion and shared development across the continents. India looks forward to cooperate with Brics countries in the new industrial revolution, and in the end, I am sure, as wished by His Excellency President Ramaphosa, the outcome out of this dialogue will be more than and better than expected. With this, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. It is now my pleasure and honor to invite to the podium, and we are remaining in India for a while, Comrade Bhubaneswar Kalita, an MP and the Chief Whip of the Congress Party of the Indian National Congress.
Thank you, Director of this session. His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, distinguished guests, distinguished leaders sitting in the dais, comrades, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, it is my privilege to convey the greetings and best wishes from the President and leadership of Indian National Congress to all of you. Indian National Congress compliments the African National Congress for having convened the dialogue of the Brics political parties. It was appropriate that this meeting has been convened as South Africa is the chair of Brics in 2018. South Africa is celebrating the centenary of Nelson Mandela, who is a hero not just for the people of South Africa, but for the people of India, also, and also for all those who respect human dignity and freedom throughout the world. India is also commemorating 150th birth anniversary of the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi. He began his struggle against discrimination in South Africa and had launched the first satyagraha from Johannesburg in 1906. It was in South Africa that he crafted the tools of non-violent defiance, which he used effectively to arouse and mobilize the millions of Indians to liberate India from centuries of colonialism. No two countries in the world have shared histories of struggle and heroes like South Africa and India. Indian National Congress is appreciative of the strong developmental agenda at the heart of Brics partnership, representing a new paradigm of South-South collaboration. India finds its association with Brics to be of utmost importance, as this platform has emerged as a valuable forum for consultation, coordination and cooperation on contemporary global issues of mutual interest, helping to promote mutual understanding. The term BRIC was coined in 2001 by the then chairman of the Goldman Sachs Asset Management, Mr. Jim O'Neill, in his publication the world needs better economics, Brics, highlighting the importance of four major fast-growing economies, Brazil, Russia, India and China. That would be amongst the world's largest economies in the next 5 decades, reflective of the rebalancing that had begun to take place in the global economic order. It was argued that high growth rates, economic potential and demographic development were going to put BRIC further in a lead position, and their increased relevance should also be reflected in their incorporation to the G7. Mr. President, comrades, ladies and gentlemen, the three main aspects that underline the relevance of BRIC as protagonists in developmental cooperation were the outstanding size of the economies, strong growth rates, leading of increasing significance in economic order of the world, and the demand for a stronger political voice in international governance structures, which corresponds to the economic status. Slowly but steadily, BRIC became a mechanism through which the member countries could exchange opinions, seek convergence, identify areas of cooperation and influence international agenda. It is not surprising that today the combined GDP of the original Quartet is actually far bigger in dollar terms than Golden Sachs envisaged when they first projected BRIC growth in 2003. It was at the second BRIC summit in Brasilia that the need to bring South Africa within the framework of BRIC was realized and materialized. BRIC was expanded to Brics with the inclusion of South Africa. Further consolidating and strengthening the earlier platform, as a member of BRICS, South Africa attended third BRICS summit in Sanya in 2011. The 5 emerging economies comprise 42% of the world population, that is over 3 trillion people, over a quarter of world's land area, and 39% of forex reserves at $4.5 trillion US dollars, over 15% share in world trade. The special emphasis of BRICS towards the reforming the structures of global governance, especially in economic field, financial G20, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, as well as the reform of political institutions such as United Nations have initiated profound global impact in favor of the member nations. The establishment of the new development bank and contingent reserve arrangement has been major achievement in BRICS grouping. It has reinforced the collective BRICS commitment to configuring the global financial architecture. The BRICS growing importance for the world economy is reflected by various economic and demographic indicators, including our increasing share of world GDP, in world trade, trade openness, and increasing forex reserves, as well as foreign direct investment inflows and outflows. BRICS share in the world GDP stands at 22% and $7 trillion. Share of the world trade accounts for over $6 trillion, and that of foreign exchange reserves is $4.5 trillion. BRICS countries have 11% of the global oil deposits, 29% gas reserves, 43% of coal. It accounts for 28% of global oil production, 22% of gas, and 66% of global coal production. The intra-BRICS trade has reached $510 billion US dollars annually. Bilateral relations between BRICS nations have mainly been conducted on the basis of non-interference, equality and mutual benefit in a number of areas. Intra-BRICS cooperation has also gained density, and so has our cooperation on economy, trade, tax matters, anti-corruption, customs, currency exchange, interbank cooperation, while new areas like ICT, e-commerce, regional aviation, education, agricultural platform, environment, clean energy, etc. are work in progress. BRICS coordination has become integral to our country's participation in multilateral forums like G20, and the efforts of the member countries to promote peace, security, stability in the world have also deepened over the years. India became the chair of BRICS for the first time in 2012. The then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh said, and I quote, "It would be equally useful, though, to encourage collaboration between institutions of BRICS countries, because our experience and solutions will have relevance for each other, particularly in areas like energy, food security, education, healthcare, sustainable development, and IT-enabled public services," unquote. The main agenda for the 4th BRICS Summit held in New Delhi was the creation of a new development bank. The idea for setting up such a bank was to put forward by India as a sign of firming the power of group and increasing its influence in global decision making. The aims of the bank were to fund development and infrastructure projects in developing and least developed countries, lending during global financial crises such as the Eurozone crisis, and issuing convertible debt which could be bought by the central banks of all the member states and hence act as a vessel for risk sharing. The establishment of new development bank became a reality when the adoption of the same was ratified in the next summit in Durban. Second time, India held the chairmanship from 15 February until 31st December 2016. This time, the theme of the India's BRICS chairmanship was building responsive, inclusive, and collective solutions. India adopted five-pronged approach: institution building to further deepen and sustain BRICS cooperation, implementation of the decisions flowing from previous summits, integrating and tapping synergies among the existing cooperation mechanisms, innovation, that is, new cooperation mechanisms on the G2G track to B2B, P2P levels to tap the potential of BRICS cooperation. And number 5, continuity, that is, continuation of mutually agreed existing BRICS cooperation mechanisms. More than 120 meetings, events were held during India's BRICS chairmanship across cities and states of India to enhance people-to-people engagement. The outcomes of the summit included the Goa Declaration, in which BRICS leaders expressed strong sentiments on terrorism. In addition, the Memorandum of Understanding for establishing a BRICS Agriculture Research Platform, the MOU on mutual cooperation between diplomatic academies, MOU amongst BRICS Development Cooperation Committee were signed during the summit. India's chairmanship introduced initiatives for greater B2B and P2P linkages among BRICS countries, such as BRICS Women Parliamentarians Forum, BRICS Under-17 Football Tournament, BRICS Trade Fair, Brics Film Festival, Brics Convention on Tourism, Brics Digital Conclave, Brics Wellness and Traditional Medicine Knowledge Forums, and Brics Youth Scientist Conclave. South Africa assumed Brics chairmanship at the beginning of 2018 with the intention of carrying forward programmatic continuity between the past chairmanships and its own. Its priorities include peacekeeping, socio-economic empowerment of women, health and vaccines, inclusive growth, sustainable development, infrastructure, fourth industrial revolution, etc. The establishment of a vaccine research platform for collaboration with Brics vaccine innovation and development partners, establishment of a Brics gender and women forum, establishment of a working group on peacekeeping, leveraging the strategy for Brics economic partnership was linked to the fourth industrial revolution. Establishment of Brics Foreign Ministries Spokespersons Forum, establishment of Brics Tourism Cooperation Mechanism, establishment of Brics Network of Science Parks, establishment of Technology Business Incubators, and establishments of Brics Forum on Governance have also been prioritized. India has already given full support to the listed priorities. Mr. President, comrades, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world full of uncertainties and challenges. There remain unresolved conflicts in different regions of the world. Although this group overturns the present geopolitical balance entirely and sets a new direction for the growth of international trade and economy by offering to replace the existing solutions with a new global order, much potential needs to be tapped in areas of interest to all countries. Many efforts need to be consolidated to realize their full benefits. Many new areas of cooperation need to be exploited and explored, and many old challenges and problems need to be resolved. There is a genuine need of improvement on social indices in all our countries. The Russian Federation ranks the highest on Human Development Index at 48. But South Africa and India are ranking 119 and 131 respectively. Some other countries and some other challenges that seem to be looming large are poverty, employment, complex e-commerce ecosystem, rising conflicts and tensions, old fissures and new fault lines, etc. Equally, a matter of concern is growing protectionism and trade wars, which threaten global cooperation and multilateralism. Also, 3 of the Brics countries have not been the beneficiaries of the first 2 industrial revolutions. The wave of technologies accompanying the 4th industrial revolution, 3D printing, robotics, artificial intelligence, will be disruptive. Testing the leadership of political parties and governments, industries and institutions related to education and skills training respond to this challenge. It is an imperative that the countries prepare the institutional strengths, capacities created and investment made to train and prepare the workforce by training them in new skills. Failing this, with rising unemployment, we would be faced with turbulence and social instability. Creating opportunities and access to the same for the youth must be the priority of all the governments. Friends, comrades, ladies and gentlemen, Indian National Congress assures the ANC and the political parties of the Brics plus political parties dialogue of its commitment to the success of the deliberations in this meeting and to jointly work in taking forward the recommendations. Thank you for your attention. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Kalita. Thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my privilege to invite to the podium Comrade Tetekin Vias, Chief Political Counselor of the Chairman of the Communist Party of the Russian Federation.
Dear comrades, I fear that I won't be as eloquent as my predecessor. Comrade President Cyril Ramaphosa, members of the ANC leadership, esteemed delegates and the conference, allow me first to read the messages of greetings from the leader of the Communist Party of the Russian Federation, Comrade Gennady Zyuganov. To participants in the conference of Brics political parties plus dialogue. Dear friends, on behalf of millions of members and supporters of the Communist Party of the Russian Federation, I welcome participants in this important forum. We are eyewitnessing developments of a truly historic nature. The unipolar world is rapidly becoming a thing of the past. New forces emerging in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East are increasingly challenging the global domination of the old colonial powers, which are determined to retain control over the world by economic blackmail, information genocide, and military interventions. The BRICS countries represent the majority of the population of our planet, and production power of these countries is surpassing that of those countries which have built their prosperity on the plunder of human and mineral resources of the East and South. But they are no longer able to continue this plunder due to historic changes in the world started by the Great October Socialist Revolution in Russia in 1917. Therefore, they are turning on their own population. The golden billion of the population is dwindling into golden 100 million. The inequality is growing in those countries whose leadership was always claiming to be the champions of freedom, equality, and brotherhood. The current courageous struggle of the French people against the petrol prices is an indication that old order is collapsing even in its centers. The old order is trying to resist. The trade wars started by US President Trump is a proof of the imperialist forces' determination to retain the global domination. The use of sanctions as political weapon contradicts the declared freedom of trade, which was quoted as a Bible for many centuries by the West. This shows their contempt to the international law they always claim to be supporting. The formation of BRICS is a symbol of changing times. For the first time in history, a powerful group of countries representing three continents has emerged to defend the interests not only of their population, but the population of those countries who are, at the moment are not prepared to challenge the domination of the West. This is a natural alliance. Russia is historically connected with China, India, and South Africa by decades of common struggle against colonialism and subjugation. Brazil is an important partner of our country since the time when Latin America stopped to be the backyard of the United States of America. The Communist Party of the Russian Federation, together with all the communist and workers' parties of the world, was always at the forefront of the struggle against the unipolar world for free and equal development of all countries of our planet. Wish the conference success in its deliberations and believe that the results of this important forum will be a major step towards the liberation of mankind from the vestiges of neocolonialism and will serve as a guiding star on the road to universal peace and prosperity. Gennady Zyuganov, Chairman of the Central Committee,
Communist Party of the Russian Federation. Dear comrades, allow me to make a few remarks in my personal behalf. First of all, I wanted to express condolences to the African National Congress and the entire South African people on passing away of Comrade Mendim Simang. He was a great revolutionary figure, and he was a great friend of our country and my personal friend. We shall be missing Comrade Mendi. Hamba Kahli, Uncle Mendi. Secondly, I wanted to congratulate the African National Congress for celebrating so effectively the centenary of the great revolutionary figures, Comrade Nelson Mandela and Comrade Albertine Sisulu. We don't need to say to anybody the importance and the greatness of these people, but the mere fact that they are here with us, their images are here with us at the stage, shows the determination of the ANC leadership and the ANC government to pursue further and most effectively the radical economic transformation which was declared here. So that's a great, very important symbol. As to the topic of the conference, I would like to make only one remark. I wish to say that the strategy of those who want to retain the unipolar world is changing. The weapon of military intervention is losing its effectiveness. They didn't achieve their objectives by invading Afghanistan and Iraq. And the heroic struggle of the Syrian people shows the limits of the military interventions. Hence the increased use of economic sanctions as the main political weapon to subjugate those countries and nations which resist the global domination. We are eyewitnessing the increased sanctions pressure on China. And we're seeing that India is being threatened with sanctions for wanting to buy sophisticated Russian anti-aircraft weapons. And Russia is one of the main subjects of these economic sanctions. It's funny, they're introducing the economic sanctions against Russia now with the regularity of a computer train on a busy working day morning. Every 3 months, a new set of sanctions, Hey, they've got so many sanctions in their pockets. Very surprising. But let me state very clearly, we are not afraid of sanctions. There are people in Russia who are saying the more sanctions and the longer, the better for us. Because the sanctions are making us stronger. The Western world is committing one strategic mistake. I shouldn't have warned them about that, but it's too late for them to change the strategy. For 3 decades, we are applying very effective strategy of suffocating Russia in friendly embrace. I call it anaconda strategy. This snake, takes over the person and squeezes until it's dead and is prepared to be swallowed. So that was the strategy they were using against Russia for 3 decades. And they thought that we are either dead or nearly dead. But we are alive. And we are strong. And the effectiveness of our support to the legitimate government of Syria in their combating the international terrorism, and it's a very effective assistance, I must say, shows that we are strong enough. Hence, they're applying more and more sanctions. But while they make this emphasis on sanctions, this makes us make an increasing effort on education, industrialization, science and technology, arts and culture. So there are very, very positive aspects about these sanctions, I must admit. Some of the people said that one of the American Secretary of State who started the sanctions, Kerry is the name, should have been built a monument on the Red Square to citizen Kerry, from the grateful Russians. Here in Southern Africa, the liberation movements were facing very difficult times.
but you overcome the resistance of the powerful apartheid regime, and you defeated this regime of colonialism and racism. And you set a very strong, powerful example to the rest of the world. So South African Revolution and the revolutions in Southern Africa is a very inspiring example how we must combat the imperialism. And the speeches which I've heard from the ANC President and Secretary General are very, very inspiring in this sense. And I must say that the words, I mean the slogans of the liberation movements, a luta continua, a vitória certa, Amandla Ngawetu, are becoming the symbols of international resistance to global powers. Together we shall win. I'm not very strong in arithmetics, you know, probably, but for me, G5 is stronger and bigger than G7. Together we shall win. Thank you very much indeed.
The video. No. So we can't do the video yet. So at the end. Okay. Comrade Slava, thank you very much. Always the teacher, always correct, always positive. Amandla. It is now my honor to invite Senator Gleisi Hoffman, the President of the Workers' Party of Brazil, to address us. Thank you.
Nos empolgou o camarada russo, companheiro. Senhor Presidente Cyril Ramaphosa, companheiros do Congresso Nacional Africano que nos recebem neste diálogo entre os partidos dos Brics. É uma honra estar no país de Nelson Mandela. Saúdo os companheiros do Partido Rússia Unida e Partido Comunista da Rússia, do Partido do Congresso da Índia e BJP, Partido do Povo, do Partido Comunista Chinês e todos os que